All right, Micheal Noexcuse of the Art of Rucking.
Yep.
Thank you for giving me your time to interview you today on this topic, because I think it's really important, and it's becoming more popular.
Yeah.
And I think we can say that society is facing an obesity epidemic.
Yep.
We're not eating the right foods like we ought to be. A lot of people are just living sedentary lives because of technology and all these things. And I think we're starting to have an awakening when it comes to our bodies, no
Yes.
matter the age, whether you're young or old. And then I think military culture, probably due to political concerns that are starting to merge with military type thoughts, whatever
Mhm.
those may be,
Yeah.
war, things like that.
Yeah.
And rucking has come to the front and center to many people's minds, and it's being preached very, very positively
Yep.
to
Yeah.
the layman out there, or maybe that's the wrong word, but the average person out there,
Yeah.
and trying to make a difference in their life somehow. Um, so I thought it would be cool to interview you and just ask you um, on how does somebody get started with rucking?
So first off, let me say thank you for having me on your podcast. Right. Um, I'll tell you how I start my clients with rucking. People who have never been in the military, people who've never even heard of rucking like at all. First thing I ask them though, if I'm bringing in a new client, the first thing I'll ask them is, "Have you ever heard of rucking?" And they'll be like, "No." I'm like, "You sure you haven't heard of rucking?" I said, "What did you used to wear when you went to school in elementary? A backpack?" Okay, I mean that's pretty much what it is from elementary to junior high, high school, even in college. It's just that we didn't really learn how to distribute the weight properly.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
pretty much all it is. We back in, we're what's that, 80 babies. So we went to school in the 90s and early 2000s. We rocked the Jan Sport backpack and wore the backpack down our back. Having it up wasn't really cool. You looked like a nerd if you had it up all the way. Back then we had it lower, that not knowing we're messing up our back. So um, one of the first things I do with a new client is I'll bring them in. They're signing a waiver, ask them about rucking. And since if they've been out of school for a long time, what I'll do is I'll either put them on an assault pack, right? Which is what I call a baby ruck, or a hiking backpack, because it's very similar to an actual rucksack, right? Because you have the top strap, the breast strap, and you also have the waist strap. So
Right.
I'll put them on a treadmill for a warm up for about maybe 10 minutes, just so they can get used to what it feels like to have something on their back and walking. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's pretty much it. That's how I get them. That's how I get people started if they never rucked before at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but if I get someone who's a vet like you know what I mean. But if they haven't rucked in a while, I'll still use the same method:
Okay.
assault pack, hiking backpack, baby ruck. Put them on the treadmill for about 10 minutes, and then just get them used to, like, okay, this is how it feels, with the breast strap and the waist strap, and this is how it feels walking, and then they can mess with the speed. You know what I mean? However they want, 2 miles per hour, 2.5, then 3, then 3.5, 4, however they want. They can even ruck shuffle on the treadmill if they really want to. But I try to get them used to it, because I look at rucking from everything starts from the ground up, right? That's how you
Yeah.
build your feet. If you're not wearing the right socks, sometimes even wearing the right boots, uh, wearing the right footwear. Some people like boots, some people like this athletic shoes. So that's how I get people who have never started rucking how to start rucking.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a really good breakdown. Um, so when somebody when you start somebody out,
Yeah.
how do you like how much weight? So you start them off with like a 2-day assault pack, is
So
something like
exactly.
that?
So let's say like if I have a client that I have two classes. I have an advanced class, which is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I
Okay,
have beginner classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So let's talk about someone who's advanced.
right.
If their first day is on Monday, I'll put them in a baby ruck on the 10-minute treadmill for 10 minutes on the treadmill.
Okay,
And then on Wednesday, I'll probably do the same thing. And then on Friday, we're actually moving on concrete. Now
okay,
we're actually moving freely off the treadmill
okay.
and then just kind of getting them because I think we both know running on the treadmill and actually freestyle running is different. Being on the treadmill, it's different.
Right.
But you are building up your cardiovascular. You are getting the movement. The whole point is just getting comfortable with the weight on your back and just getting that motion, just feeling it because you'll feel it when you actually start like free walking. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like now there's free running from off the treadmill, and now we're free walking with the baby rug on
Okay.
on concrete. You know, that's it. Yeah, that's how I get people started.
Okay. So
And weight wise,
yeah, exactly. I was
weight,
gonna say,
weight
like,
wise,
what is the
um,
weight where you would
I'll,
start somebody?
I'll
I know there's a lot of variables,
yeah,
like you got big dudes, big women,
right. You
small
got
women.
it. That's exactly, yeah. You got it, man. If they're just starting, then I'll put like maybe 10 to 15 pounds. The way that I'll do it is since I'll use like maybe like the round weights that we use. We can
Round
put
weights
on,
like plates?
yeah,
Yeah,
plates,
okay.
plates.
Gotcha.
Now, but the way that I put it in the baby ruck is where it's not gonna hit their back, right? So I'll put
Yeah.
like either a towel down as the foundation, and then I'll put a weight in there, and that's how
Okay.
I'll get them started. I'll say 10 to 20 pounds for
Perfect.
beginners.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I know that the body when you're rucking, right? Like
Yeah,
it's like in the gym. Like you go to the gym, you're not building muscle in the gym.
yeah.
You're breaking the muscle down.
You're breaking the muscle down.
It's catabolic, right? And then
Yeah.
you go home and then you eat right and you get good sleep and your body builds up stronger.
Yes.
You're healing and recovery and but that all that adaptation that your body is going through,
Yeah.
your ligaments, your joints, all those
That's
things are
You got
hardening,
it. You got
strong.
it. That's it.
Yeah,
That is exactly it. And that's the beauty of like when you start them off on the treadmill like that, that's exactly it. The muscles in your feet, you're getting your tendons, your ligaments, everything built up from the ground up. So yeah, that's perfect. It's
so
exactly it.
that's really cool that that we brought that up towards the beginning of this video because if you are somebody who's aging, maybe let's just say 60 years old,
Yeah.
um, you can see that if you get the nutrition you need and you get the sleep that you need after an event like rucking, like a rucking event, you will grow.
Yeah,
Your body will adapt, and
absolutely.
you will therefore improve. Like you'll be reversing a lot of that sedentary lifestyle that or a lot of what's in your body that's been impacted by a sedentary lifestyle if you've been
Right.
sedentary. So this is really important for anyone who's wanting to ruck,
Yeah,
but especially those who are just trying to get back into a better state of health.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's people who are older. I look at it as like, well, it just depends. If you have some type of joint pain, Rucking can be very gentle on the joints, not like us where we're actually, military, army,
right.
running, while wearing a ruck and things. If you're not wearing the proper footwear, you can mess up your feet, ankles, shins, knees, and then that'll mess up your lower back, hip. All that stuff messes you up.
Yeah,
But all you're doing is rucking for rucking is pretty much the gym on your back because you're building stamina,
yeah,
right? you're building cardio, and you're building strength all in one. So if you're if you're what is it if you're on a time crunch, okay, well, you know what? Let me get up at 8 in the morning, and I'll probably just do like a 30-minute ruck. You know what I mean? So it's you get the most bang for your buck in a short period of time. If especially if you're on the go, if you're on the go. So to me, you can keep that rucksack packed up, and when get up in the morning and just pick it up, and you're gone. You know what I mean? 30
Yeah.
minutes to an hour, whatever time, however long you want to do it, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can have something just ready to go, just like as if it's a piece of equipment ready
That's
to
it.
go.
That's it. All my clients' rucks are lined up. They're
Yeah.
all lined up and color coordinated, all packed up. So whenever my clients come to the gym, they'll see the whiteboard and it'll say 2 mile, 4 mile, 6 mile ruck. They
Okay.
know their rucksack through color. Like how we used to do
Yeah.
back, active duty. First
I-
platoon, you're red. Second platoon,
yeah,
blue.
yeah.
So I'll ask my clients, okay, what color do you want? Right. And
Right.
then they pick a color. I teach them how to tape the straps, adjust the straps, and then I'll line their rucks up. When it's time to go, they just pick up and we go. That's
Oh,
it. It's
yeah.
it's it's too easy.
So, what I wanted to ask you this. So, you kind of listed off some of the benefits of rucking here
Yeah.
in
Yep.
this last couple minutes, but one of my favorite benefits to rucking was where our mind goes when you're
Oh,
like when you're
dude,
in the middle of it.
dude. Yeah.
So much opens up and comes to the mind that
Yeah.
I don't even think I can explain it,
No,
but
you can't. Yeah, you really can't,
it's
man.
almost
Yeah.
it's almost a priceless thing. I almost think it's
Yeah.
me, it's like one of the probably the biggest benefit. It's such a reward to have that ability to go where your mind is taken
Yeah.
when you're I don't know, like in the middle of these rucks, I would get some of the strangest, most wild thoughts, and I would just carry that vein of thought, and it just opened up so much understanding into things that I wasn't normally thinking about.
Yeah.
It's like an aha moments and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Just
And it depends on the type of ruck you're going on. Like a recreational ruck. Most of the time those are pretty easy. I would say those are like maybe 2 to maybe 4 mile rucks.
yeah,
And then after 4 miles you start to feel it. But for me, there's nothing better than facing that pain.
yeah. I think I think that's a huge reward. I
You know what I mean? To me when I first started rucking. So I'll give you a little bit of my background,
all right, right,
right?
okay,
So when people hear about my age, oh, you're 40, you're gonna be 40 years old. So how was it back then? I tell them, I don't know. I didn't join until 2019. You see what I
oh,
mean?
okay,
I
okay,
didn't join until 2019. But my background is mostly security and federal security. So I had a secret clearance before I went into the Army.
okay,
So when I went into the Army in 2019, I was one of the oldest guys in my basic training and in my platoon. I was older than all of my platoon sergeants. So when I came in, they thought I was already, oh, well, are you a vet coming back in? Like, no, because I was already disciplined. You see what I'm saying?
right,
Fort Benning, Georgia, um, the first class of the 22-week cycle, right?
okay,
'Cause you
all
got your
right,
basic training, 9 weeks, and then 14 weeks in the infantryman cycle, right? But no, they wanted 22 weeks now because they thought that the new soldiers that were going into their units, they weren't grasping it. So they made the cycle longer. They made it longer. And when I tell you they jacked us up really good to the point where a good batch after our 22-week cycle, a lot of our soldiers went into Ranger Bat and they went SF. when we got to our units, and I'm fast forwarding it just a little bit, but when we got to our units, we were complete studs. You know,
Yeah.
they were really like, how is this guy 34 years old? He's a PFC busting out 100 push-ups. How? How is this guy doing this? It's because they jacked us up during that 22-week cycle. They got very creative, extremely creative. But that's when, you know, there is civilian fit, right? We go to the gym, we lift
Mhm.
weights, we'll run the whole nine, and then there's soldier fit, there's army fit.
Mhm.
You know, I was a personal trainer and I was a federal security officer before I went into the army. Thought I was in shape, but then when I got into the army basic training, and the army teaches you how to move with weight. You got the two duffel bags on. You're like, is this really is this really for me? This is just basic training. Is the army really for me? A lot of things go through your mind. You know, that was the last shark attack. I was in the last shark attack because they got rid of that. You see what I'm saying? And you're like, whoa, like you see people passing out. You're like, man, am I really fit for this? Like, you know, mentally and physically. So a lot of stuff goes through your mind during that shark attack because I'm like, man, I'm 33 years old. I turned 34 in boot camp. You see what I mean? So I was called old man, pops, uncle. I was Yoda. You know, I was the guy that would sit in my locker reading my book, and all the young guys would come to me with my glasses down. I'm looking at them, and I'm their mentor. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Those kids, they drove me crazy.
Yeah,
But
I remember I was 19. I turned 19. I had kitchen patrol duty
yeah,
on my birthday,
yep,
and but I do remember we had a guy that was I want to say he was like 38,
yeah,
but he was a stud, man. Like he was not there to screw around.
no,
He took
no,
it very seriously.
we weren't there to
And
screw around. We were
those
very
drill
serious
sergeants,
about it.
those drill sergeants, I don't want to. They were hard on him, but they also respected him because it takes a certain kind of man to be like, yeah, yeah, you're older. You're not the young 19-year-old anymore.
Yeah,
But it's you kind of show the youngsters how to behave,
yeah,
and it,
yeah,
it does it makes life a lot easier. Because I remember being in the sand pit, just with this attitude, you can't smoke a rock, you can't smoke a
yeah,
rock, you know,
yeah.
and just trying to be hard, but we broke. We would all break, man. They'd
You
break us.
break, you break, you break. You
Yeah,
will break. They spoiled us in reception. They spoiled us in reception, and our drill sergeants heard about that, so they weren't really happy about that. Not one bit, man. And when you're when you're around the young guys, they weren't happy, and they were not happy, man. I'm telling you, they weren't happy, dude. And you can tell those guys. You know, they joined. You're 01 to 07s, but you're older than those guys, so they probably came in maybe 04 or 04, 05, maybe even after you. And but you can see it in their face.
yeah,
Straight killers. Like straight
yeah,
up, you know, straight up. Pros and cons of going in older, I knew my body already. So I wanted to limit myself. I wanted to limit myself, but then at the same time, I didn't want to limit myself to push harder. So
yeah,
I was able to I was able to like conserve my energy when and use it when I had to. That's the benefit of going in older. Whereas the young guys, they were full throttle. It didn't matter if they were hurting themselves, causing injury. I was smart with it. You
yeah,
kind of get what I'm saying.
yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
kudos to you, man, for doing that, and also thank you for raising your right hand and serving our nation.
Oh yeah, of course, man.
In the armed forces, so
Yep.
in the army. So thank you. Um, yeah, man, I miss the guys I served with. I miss the memories of just sucking,
Yeah.
but we were all sucking, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's wild how much those memories matter later in life.
Yep.
Like I can just see when I'm 60 years old how much I'll cherish those memories even more.
Yeah. They
Just
won't go away.
they don't go away, man.
They
Not
don't
at
go
all.
away. It's a brotherhood.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep in touch with a lot of the guys I served with, but I think a lot of us, we have families now, and
Yeah.
just it was inevitable. But we'll we'll chat here and there. We were having reunions. The last one was in Austin on 6th Street. I want to say like 2018. So we're due for a new one here.
Yeah.
But it's good times. Bunch of scouts going
Yeah.
down 6th Street and getting smashed. And then our platoons aren't looking out for him because he's the most rowdy he's the rowdiest.
You know what? If you were still in when I came in, it's funny because you would be my platoon sergeant. Check it out. When I got to my unit at Fort Hood, I was older than my platoon sergeant.
Yeah.
I was older.
Yeah.
He hated me. Oh, he hated me. That motherfucker hated me, man. So much, dude. I'm like, man, what did I do to you, man? Fuck, dude.
Okay. So what are what not to do's when it comes to rucking? So I'm Joe Blow. I want to ruck. What are the things and I've never done it before. What are the things that I just should not do, but I may end up doing if I'm not aware?
Overloading the ruck.
Okay.
That's a big thing.
Boom.
Overloading the ruck. There are too many guys out there now that are. It's one of those things where it's like, why are you rucking with 100 pounds on your back? What's the whole point? What are you training for? An event or something? You do know you can injure yourself just like that with the wrong slip.
Mm-hmm.
In the mud, or you miss the pavement accidentally and your hip or back, whatever, you can blow all of that out, especially if the weight isn't distributed and condensed properly. If the weight on your back that you're carrying on your back isn't packed properly, you will injure yourself. Period. To me, that's number one. That is number one. I would say overloading your rucksack with weight you just really do not need, especially if you're not training for any type of like event. If you're trying to go into selections, the most your rucksack will weigh, depending on what selection you're going to. Like when I went to PSYOP selection, the most we ever put in a rucksack was only what, 45 pounds, right? So it just depends on, but if I would say, let's say you're going to SF, all of my buddies who went and passed SF, their rucksacks weighed up to maybe 80 pounds, maybe, right? So I would say, okay, well, if you want to get really good at rucking, if you want that load to be considered light when you go into selection, work your way up to maybe 85. You can keep at 80 or 85. You know what I mean? So the load can be a little bit lighter, when you go to selection. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But number one is overloading your rucksack, especially if you're new.
Yeah. Respect the weight.
Respect the weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Are there any other what not to do's? What? Okay. Yeah. Just nothing.
I would say, I would probably say shoes, like wear the proper shoes, the footwear. You know what I'm saying? I would say socks, right? Some people perspire more than others. I know I do. So I wear wool socks, right?
Right.
Cotton doesn't really absorb that sweat that much. You know what I mean? So you're going to be slipping the siding. That's the best way to get blisters on your feet, right? And that's what you don't want. So, I mean, weight, respect the weight. And then I will also say footwear. Footwear is very important, from socks and the type of shoes you're wearing, either be it boots or some type of athletic shoe.
Okay.
Know which one is going to be best for you and your body type when rucking.
Yeah, I remember when I was a new private, when I got to my unit, a lot of guys were wearing like doubling up dress socks.
Yes. Yeah. I had one of the old school guys. He was a GWAT guy like you. And he was like, yeah, what I do is he puts his his dress socks under his wool socks.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I don't know if it was any good or not in hindsight. I don't remember. My feet always got banged up.
You know what? It's just one of those things where you really have to, you can't avoid it. People always try to ask, like, what what kind of socks can I wear? What kind of boots can I wear? It plays a factor in protecting your feet. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to go on a long ruck, your feet are going to hurt.
Yeah.
Like you can't, you have to embrace that suck. You have to embrace that pain no matter what.
Yeah.
It's going to be there.
I think
Period.
for me, what do you think about this? So I've tried a ton of different ways when it comes to socks.
Yes.
I think the thing I learned is it doesn't matter too much as long as you have the ability to change out your socks somewhat frequently.
Yep.
Like if you're on say a 10K,
Yeah.
or even a 10 miler,
Yes.
you get like 3 or 4 pairs of socks in there, because I think the more you change out your socks, the better your feet will be in the end.
Absolutely. You want to keep them as dry as possible.
But there's so many times where I just like raw dog my feet, never change my socks. Even walking through like waterways and stuff.
Yeah, you're in the moment. Sometimes when I went on a ruck before, I had an event with the guys, and I brought 2 pairs of boots, and of course socks as well. You know what I mean? Because I sweat a whole lot. But it just really just depends on the individual. You know what I mean? We have to figure out the type of person you are. Like, what type of rucker are you gonna be? You get what I'm saying? Some people, like when you asked me, like, what are the things not to do when you start rucking? I mentioned weight. There's footwear, but then there's also, what are you wearing? Some people, it just depends on the individual. Some people get hot too fast. Some people get cold faster. You know what I mean?
Layers, right?
Layers.
I didn't even think about that just popped up.
Layers. Yeah. So some people, it just depends. You know what I mean? Are we what not to do when rucking in the summertime? You know what I mean? You better not layer up. You know what I mean? You might, or chafing. You might chafe in between your legs. So like I said, it really just depends. Rucking to me, and what I do with my clients and people who are just beginning rucking, I really pay attention to each client that I have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I how can I put it? I mold the rucksack to them, or I mold the individual rucker. You understand what I'm saying? So like me, I can ruck in the wintertime. I can ruck with shorts on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll keep a hoodie on. Some people are cold everywhere, so they'll wear a hoodie and they'll wear sweats. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'll make sure I'll tell them, hey, make sure you got some second layers on. You might get too hot in that. So it just, but then you have some people who can wear that throughout the whole entire ruck. So for me, it's the do's and don'ts for each individual. I can't tell someone to, for example, like we're going, let's say basic trainer, or you're going on a ruck with your platoon or something, and they want you to put water, down your, on your sleeves, and then you roll up and it goes down. And it's like, I don't feel like doing that, to cool my body down. I'm actually still okay, but they still want you to do it. So you don't heat cat. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
When it comes to like when people ask, like, what are the best boots to wear? I don't know. It just depends on do you got flat feet? Do you have an arch? Like
Yeah.
We have to know these things. Yeah,
right.
this is, and that is
programmed to the individual.
There you go. And that to me is one of the reasons why it's called the art of rucking. That the key word in that is the art. Because to me, it's an art form. You see what I mean? Now we're getting them a lot more loose, but it's an art form. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I got to mold this rucksack to your body type. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand what the straps are used for. You got the top straps, the bottom strap, and the side straps. Top straps, you want that rucksack. Some people like their rucksack condensed. I like that. I like my ruck condensed, from the top to the bottom and on the side. I want the rucksack to feel like a solid rock on my back. I don't want it to be flipping all over the place.
Right.
But one of my buddies, he's 6'1", he's a bigger guy. When I look at his rock, it's like, damn, bro, like, what you doing? But he's okay.
Okay.
It's all over the place. It's not pretty.
Okay.
It's not pretty. You know what I mean? Whereas for me, I'm attention to detail. I want that rucksack to look pretty on my back. Presentation, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe OCD, but it's individualized rucking.
Got it.
What I mean?
Got it. For sure. Okay, then. Well, let's just shift over to gear real quick. So
Okay.
obviously, people are going to have to experiment to figure out what they like because everybody's different.
Yep.
We kind of went over the idea of not overloading your ruck with weight.
Yeah.
Respect the weight.
Respect the weight.
Maybe respect the distance too.
Respect the distance.
Yeah. Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Absolutely, man.
I'm just trying to. If I didn't know what I was doing and I wanted to start tomorrow morning.
Yep.
What are the how do I answer these potential question marks that I have to get going?
Right.
So does it matter, for example, if I have a certain kind of ruck? Mm-hmm. Could I just use a little bag? Obviously you can. You mentioned the 2-day bag, or
yes.
So then, should I be packing water for a 2-month, all this? I think it's easy to get carried away with stuff, but to nail down the basics, that no matter who you are, you should have this for your own safety.
Yeah.
And so that you can guarantee a successful ruck,
Yes. Yeah. So,
and have fun doing it without nearly dying or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Right. Depending on if you're new and you just want to start rucking, right? I'll base it off my client. Assault pack, like I said, assault or a hiking backpack, right? If we're going on, we're probably going a 2-mile ruck, right?
Okay. 2-mile ruck.
Assault pack. You can wear whatever athletic shoes you want to, you know what I mean? Because we're not 2 miles isn't too bad, right? Socks wise, I think you should be okay.
Right.
Water source, right? It can be a water bottle. You don't really need a camel pack. I don't use a camel pack until I'm going on like a 12-mile, or when I know I gotta keep my kidneys hydrated, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to get a rhabdo while you're rucking or heat cat. But that's for beginners. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That's for beginners right there. And I think that's what's important. Water, some form of electrolytes, right? Because you might be sweating, just depending on if it's hot outside, if it's summertime or wintertime. But no matter what, I think having water and electrolytes are very important. And then knowing how to pack that ruck, make sure the rucksack is comfortable on your back, right? And your footwear is important as well. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That for me, that's for beginners. So, but if it's a seasoned rucker, if it's seasoned, I think it all depends on the distance. It just depends on how far we're going. And then if we're going on a 6-miler, you know what I mean? Because that's half of 12, obviously, right? If we're going on a 6-miler, then those clients are going to probably be wearing a rucksack, an actual rucksack. The frame of the ruck is actually made for the weight to sit on your hips. A lot of people think that, just depends, like male and female, right? Most guys can carry weight, upper body strength, so we can carry the weight a little bit more. We can carry a lot more weight on our shoulders,
right?
Whereas women are kind of more hip dominant,
right?
But in reality, rucking, I don't know about you, but I've seen some pretty good female ruckers. Like,
I didn't serve with many female. Oh, there was no females when I was in.
Man,
for in the support.
A lot, not in the infantry, but just different. In different MOSs.
Okay.
There's quite a few females that actually can ruck pretty good. But the frame, the way that it's made for all the weight to sit on your hips. You see what I'm saying? Some people think it's actually, your upper back and shoulders, but no, it's actually on your hips.
Well, I'll tell you from my experience, I carried the load from my shoulders.
Yeah, yeah,
I have a pencil waist, when
yeah,
I was serving, and I couldn't get that ruck strap tight enough around my hips. I
yeah,
mean, I probably could have. I didn't know what I was doing too
yeah,
much. I just muscled it, and
yeah.
grinded
Of
through.
course, yeah.
But yeah, I would feel like at the end of the ruck, just when you dump that ruck off, just
On your shoulders. Yeah,
just
yep.
incredible relief in the shoulders.
Yes.
Not so much in the hips, but that was probably because I didn't have the, what would you say, like the weight of the ruck wasn't centered, or not centered, but like, I don't know, positioned to be around the waist.
So,
I would cinch it up real tight on my shoulders, and
for example, like you have the breast strap,
yeah,
right, and you have the waist strap. Uh, Someone like you, shoulders. You got big traps. You know what I mean? That's perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? You're
yeah.
like, I used to say it where, because I read an article that said that the frame of the ruck is actually made for all the weight to hit on your hips, but then
That
you
makes
have
sense to me.
people, but you do have people, because it's a big muscle. Your hip is a big muscle, right? It's a big,
Right.
But you have some people who like to, like one of my buddies. He never strapped up or anything. He put all that weight up here. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Now, for me, the type of rucker that I am, if I put too much strain on my traps, then I'll get the headaches that go up my neck. So I'm more of a neutral rucker. So I like to feel it. I'll adjust the straps on the top of the ruck to where it kind of lifts off my shoulder, so I don't feel all that pain. See, so a lot of people don't know that you can play with the straps.
yeah.
If you pull the straps, what is it, up? If you pull the straps up on your ruck, you'll see the shoulder strap you'll see it turn into a triangle, so that weight won't be on your shoulder.
Guilty
Right?
as all hell.
So
That was me.
if you pull the straps up, right? If you pull it down, it's gonna be like, you'll have a space. If you pull it up, the shoulders land very flat on your shoulder. I mean, the shoulder straps will land flat on your shoulder. So that means you're gonna put all that weight on your shoulder. But you'd be surprised, a lot of my clients actually like that, where they don't strap up. You know what I mean? I strap up because I want to feel balanced. I want to feel it where it's on my shoulders, but it's also on my hips as well. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it really just depends. Like I'm gonna go back to individualize rucker. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, I used to think that, so you have the shoulder strap, right?
Yeah.
And then you would have the frame on, at least on the LC ones,
Yeah.
the Alice pack.
Yeah. Dallas
So
pack.
I thought if there was a space that was bad, like you needed to cinch that sucker up. And here's the honest opinion. I don't think anybody that I served with knew what the hell they were doing with the straps. I think we were all like cinching up, real tight.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. There might be a guy I served with that
Knew
knew what he's doing. But I do remember somebody, probably some NCO at the time,
Yeah.
was like, you need to carry the weight around your hips.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to carry it around my hips. But I couldn't get it dialed in. But
Depends on your body type.
I
Period.
thought it was like the way I was walking.
Yeah.
Almost, it was like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's good to know that a little bit of space to get that frame away from your back.
Yeah. To get
is how you get it.
you don't want the straps to land on your shoulders, especially for people who have a lot of neck and shoulder pain, like how I do, and I'll get headaches afterwards. So I'll pull the straps down to give me that space.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of education going on with how to carry the ruck. It was just packing mostly,
So, where I the reason why I developed the Art of Rucking, I don't know if you were going to ask me that.
I was going to get there.
No, go ahead. Ask me whatever. Then what's next?
Well, I was gonna try to get into what your thoughts were on. So we talked about layers.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of self-explanatory,
Mhm.
but nutrition. So like snacks and things like that. Say let's just say if Micheal Noexcuse is going on a 5-mile ruck.
Yeah.
Right. 5 miles. What is that? It might be a 2-hour ruck for some people.
Yeah.
So, what do you take? Like if you need to have a rucksack flop and you're hungry,
So
like
you want
to fuel up.
You want the hardcore answer, or you want like the actual like? Oh,
I'm 60-year-old Tom who wants to try out rucking for the first time.
Okay.
And I'm going on a 5-mile ruck, and it's going to be a challenge for me. And I don't want to go out there empty-handed.
Nutrition wise, I like sour candy.
Okay.
I really like sour candy. And the reason why is because since I sweat a lot, you're sweating out like a lot of minerals and nutrients. And I tend to get really hypoglycemic when I ruck.
Okay.
When I ruck. You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
I for some reason I'll bring sour gummy bears.
Yeah.
For me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not necessarily any fruit, no anything like that. I'm perfectly fine with water. I'll put some electrolytes in my Camelback, and then sour candy. I can chew on that during a 12-mile ruck and be perfectly fine.
Okay. And is there any things that you don't recommend taking? Like I don't know, things that might dry you out more. I don't know. Is there anything like that? I mean, maybe that's what should be said. I don't know.
No.
Just
like obviously you don't want to smoke.
right.
You know, some people can. I've seen it.
Yeah, too.
You don't want to dip. You know what I mean? Some people dip.
Yeah.
I dip when I ruck. Not.
You just consume more water, right?
I consume a lot of water, right, and electrolytes. I would probably say not to. It just depends. Like I'm not gonna chew on a what is it a protein bar when I'm rucking. For some reason, protein bars really dry up my mouth, so that's not what I'm carrying.
Yeah.
For me, for Micheal Noexcuse, that's not what I'm carrying.
Yeah.
But since you're breaking down muscle, for some people, that's something you can carry with you when on a ruck. You know what I mean? No.
Perfect. Okay, so last thing on gear, unless you have anything to add.
No, go ahead.
A lot of people are wearing like Garmin watches and GPS systems and various trackers to gauge their heart rate and the distance traveled and all that stuff. Is there any products that you recommend when it comes to that kind of stuff, or
not
disavow or
not necessarily? So what I do is I wear a Samsung watch that tells me my heart rate and that gives me my distance.
Okay.
For me, that's all I need.
Yeah.
That is it. I just need to know if I'm in my fat burning zone. You know, do I need to hydrate a little bit more because my heart rate seems to be elevated a lot, and I need to know like the distance. Did I reach my the point where I want to be? That's pretty much it for me.
Okay. Yeah, I love it, man. Thank you so much for sharing your insight into these things, because I think it's going to help a lot of people.
It's just a different perspective. That's all it is.
Yeah, but I mean, there's people out there that I think genuinely do want to get out there and ruck, and they're kind of scared to, because they don't know what the hell they think they don't know what they're doing.
That's what it is.
So I want to answer those kind of questions and kind of demystify rucking for these folks.
Yeah.
Or for the youngster too, that,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's so, man, if I really, this podcast can be like 3 hours long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got to pick and choose what I want to tell you. But I've had I have a program that's called the Art of Rucking Future Soldier. The Art of Rucking Future Soldier program, where the Army recruiting station will send me new recruits and I will get them ready for basic training. Because what I'm producing to people, what I promote is just basic.
Yep.
That's it. It's just basic. One of my mentors, he's a Delta Force commander. He was a Delta Force commander. He spent 2 years in Delta Force, and what he told me is that these guys, when he was in, they mastered the basics. They are masters of the basics, and like you just said, a lot of people they're over when they ask a question, like in the Rucking group on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
Everybody bombards them
I
with so
saw
much
that.
information, and it's like, I don't. What? Okay, do I go ruck? Do I wear a rucksack? I don't know. A soul pack. They don't know. You know what I mean? And so that's why if I ever answer the question, I'll just simplify. It's just very simple. Start with an assault pack. Okay. Pack it up. If you need for me to make a video for you how to pack up an assault pack, I will do that for you. Light stuff on the bottom, heavier stuff on top, right? Get on the treadmill. If you don't have a treadmill, just go walking for a mile. Start off light. There's no reason to start off. You don't need, respect the weight and respect the distance. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you can seriously injure yourself. You can even heat cat without even knowing. So okay, if it's cold outside, maybe let me wear this, let me wear these layers and then go on a light distance ruck to see how my body's going to respond to this. 1 mile, 2 mile. Okay, I felt okay, or I got too hot. Let me put on a t-shirt under here so I can kind of like layer down a little bit. People want to jump into rucking so fast because it's the new trend. I told people once Arnold Schwarzenegger mentions rucking, that's it. That's it. Once he mentioned rucking, that was it. And then you already have. I was established in 2022. You got Go Ruck, who was established back in 2014. But even back in 2014, even in military towns, people still didn't know what rucking was. It boggles my mind. So now people are finding out, like, okay, this is rucking. Okay, well, if I buy a 255 a price Go Ruck backpack, is that going to make me a better rucker? No, because you're still going to have to embrace the suck. You're still going to have to get into the suck no matter what. From wearing an assault pack, a Go Ruck backpack, or even an actual rucksack, especially when you're training for selections or some type of event. You're going to have to embrace that suck. You can't avoid the pain. People are trying to avoid the pain. What kind of socks do I wear? What kind of boots? Listen, you're going to suck. So just embrace it. You'll be all right. It's only temporary. You'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a beautiful breakdown there. That's going to make a great clip, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So real quick.
Yeah.
Just to get a baseline on some gear.
Yeah.
Just real quick. What boots do you wear?
Vermont.
What kind of ruck do you ruck with?
Molly 2 and an Alice pack.
What are your go-to socks?
My basic training socks, my wool. That's it. That's all I wear.
Okay. All right. Do you listen to music on your rucks or no?
I listen to podcasts.
Okay, perfect. You're learning stuff too. You double dipping. Okay. Well, where can people find you? What's your website and your socials so that people can find you?
So
learn more about what you're doing.
My IG is the Art of Rucking. That's it. The Art of Rucking. My TikTok. I deleted my app, so I can't get on it right now. But if you want to watch some of my videos on TikTok, it's the Art of Rucking. Facebook is Micheal Noexcuse. That's my personal Facebook. But if you want to go on my business Facebook page, it's the Art of Rucking. What is it? Is it X now? X or Twitter? X. The Art of Rucking. LinkedIn, the Art of Rucking. What else? YouTube, the Art of Rucking. And the website is Google theartofrucking.com. That's it. And I have my personal number on there. You know, if you want to ask me some questions, if you go to the contact me, and you can email me, it'll go straight directly to my the Art of Rucking, Gmail, the Art of Rucking at gmail.com, and I'll answer anybody's questions on there.
Awesome. Do you have anything else you want to add before we boogie?
Okay, I'll tell you this.
Okay.
The reason why I developed the Art of Rucking is because, and you mentioned it earlier, you're the first person to ever mention it. It's because back in basic, even when I went into my unit, no one taught me how to pack my rucksack. They only told me, my drill sergeant just told me, put all the light stuff on the bottom and put all the heavy stuff on the top. And that was it. And I did that. I figured out the straps by myself while we were in the bay. And my rucksack, my drill sergeant, who was way younger than me, what I did was, when I figured out, because when you get we were working with the Mali too. What is it? The ACU rucksack.
Okay.
Right? When you first get your rucksack, it's separate from the frame. So you got to figure out how to put the loops in the plastic frame and how high you want that ruck. Right? Some people were putting the little straps, like the loops, through the loops and making it. I would have to show you, but for some reason, I put the ruck high. I put the rucksack high on the frame.
Okay.
And then when I strapped it up, when I hooked the top and bottom straps together and hooked the side straps together, I put the ruck upside down and I sat on it, and I pulled the top straps all the way up so I can get the ruck really tight on my back.
Okay.
And really up on my shoulder, right on my back. When my drill sergeant saw that, he was like, "Everybody get their rucksack like Glover."
That's cool.
Everybody, and I'm new to, I don't know, I'm new to the Army. I thought it was just using common sense. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a rucking company, and my first rucksack is gonna be called the Glover Ruck. So that is what, and then after that, once my drill sergeant told me, like, rucking develops character, like it builds character. And I didn't understand that until they put us through a nonstop 18-mile ruck. And that's when you felt it. When we went up the what is it called? The Stairway to Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
When we went up the Stairway to Heaven at Fort Benning, and then we went up the Stairway to Heaven. We heard the rifles going on, because it was obviously 4 platoons. I was in second platoon, and some of the platoons already got there. So we all took different routes, but our route was 18 miles. So when we got to the rifle range, because they were doing a stress shoot right after the ruck.
Okay.
Right? Okay. You're hungry, you're tired, the whole nine. But instead of stopping at the rifle range, we passed the rifle range and we did a litter carry from wherever we passed the rifle range, grabbed the litter, we unloaded it, and then we got back to the rifle range because we had to run. It was timed. It was a time event. And then the way we found the pallet with everything on there, we had to put it exactly how we found it. Okay. And then do our stress shoot. And that right there was like the mind of just like, wow, that sucked. But it really, I didn't die.
Right.
And that's what helped me develop the Art of Rucking. Like that was it. You know what I mean? That was it.
Well, I think it's true. Doing hard things builds character.
It builds character. And discipline. And I want to show people, because I hurt my feet back in basic. My tendons were inflamed because the boots that I was wearing were the Army issued boots, but the civilians who really hate soldiers gave me 2 sizes down. So when we went on our forge, there was something during that 22-week cycle, we did something called the forge. It was 4 days. In those 4 days, we did 80 miles rucking. We did 80 miles in those 4 days.
And you had boots on that were 2 sizes too small?
2 sizes too small. So
Holy
on our
smokes, man.
dude, my feet were on the 4th day when we got back. Once we got done with all the events, because they tore us up. They tore us up, man. But on the 4th day, once I took off my boots and my socks, swelled purple. I had toenails falling off,
Yeah.
the whole nine.
Yeah.
And we still have to get ready for that was just basic training. That was just our basic training event before our graduation for basic training. So this whole we really were the guinea pigs for the 22-week cycle. They were really trying to figure out, like, how can we make these soldiers better? And they broke us. It was completely different compared to all the previous basic trainings. The 14-week cycle, no, this 22-week cycle was.
So you were the first
We were
cycle.
the first 22-week cycle.
Wow, man.
The official first 22-week cycle, and they jacked us up.
Yeah.
They jacked us up, dude.
Man, if they gave me boots that were too small,
Yeah. They were 8.5. I'm a 9. I'm a 9.5. I'm a 9.5. They gave me an 8.5 boot.
I would have sounded off.
My feet. This was my feet.
Did you speak up and say anything?
I tried to. So the day before the forge, they were going in. I can't remember how they were going in, because we were at the PX.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the order of platoons who were going in first. But when it was our turn to go inside the PX to buy boots, they're all gone. My size was gone, so I was fucked.
Yeah.
Wearing the Army issued bricks on my feet, fucked my feet up. That's why I do think that footwear is very important, and that's what I teach in my courses and to my clients. To work, rucking is really it starts from the ground up.
Yeah.
Once your feet go, you're done.
Yeah, those are your wheels, man.
Now it's up here. Now it becomes this. So yeah.
Okay. Well, this was a wonderful interview, and I think it was pretty insightful on basically all things rucking, right?
Yeah.
And to all the viewers out there, I recommend you just begin rucking. Just start. You take the advice that Micheal gave you. I don't know if I would call it advice or not, but the information that he gave you, and maybe use Micheal Noexcuse as a kind of a baseline to get started, and just start small. Start with small weights or a weight load.
Yep.
A short distance. See how it feels.
Yeah. That's it,
And,
man.
and just begin.
Yeah. Just start. It's too easy.
I guarantee you start peeling fat off your body like
Dude,
nothing else, and feeling great.
One of my clients, she's been with me for I think 7 months now, 7 or 8 months. She started off at 280 pounds, and she is now 180.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. How long has she been rucking for?
She's been rucking with me. She hit her 180-pound mark in 6 months.
Wow.
She went from 280 to 180 pounds.
Talk about success, man.
And
so
before we, but real quick, now a lot of people don't know this, Ed, but it really does depend on what your blood type is too.
Okay. How so? What do you mean?
So, for example, there's a book that I have. It's called Eat Right for Your Blood Type. And it talks about the history of each blood type. You have O positive, O negative, and then you have A, and you have, O, A, B, and then you have AB, right? You're O pos. Okay. So check this out. A lot of people don't know this. This is why I say when people ask these questions about rucking, okay, hold on, time out. Let's not give let's not generalize everyone, because everybody's going to be different, right? I'm not going to go into too much detail about the blood types, but I'm going to tell you about O type. It don't matter if you're positive or negative. Me, you, and one of my first clients is O blood type as well.
Okay.
We're the oldest blood type. O is the oldest blood type that ever existed. So we're called the hunter and gatherer blood type. So our blood type responds better to fight and flight. So that means we respond very well to hybrid type workouts, to
Oh,
rigorous training.
interesting. I had no idea.
We
This is news to
respond
me.
our blood is better. So we respond better. Our blood responds better to that. That's just working out. Each blood type has a workout, and each blood type also has a diet. We do better with carnivore and keto. Our enzymes, our acid, we can break down the protein faster than any other blood type. So that's why
Whoa.
we crave steak. We crave meat. When
Yeah.
my wife cooks food and there's not enough protein in the food, I won't be full. But my wife is A positive. She eats a lot of veggies. A positive eats veggies.
Interesting.
You see what I mean? So that's all I'm
Wow.
going to tell you. But people need to understand that blood type does play a factor when you're trying to lose weight and get into shape as well.
Interesting. What's the name of that book again?
Eat right for your blood type.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
I'll when I publish this, I'm gonna find the link to the book on probably Amazon, right?
Yeah. Eat right for your blood type. You will see. People don't. I'm trying to get people to understand that rucking is easy. Anybody can start, but at the same time, it can be complex as well, because you have to figure out what type of rucker are you going to be individually.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to hang it up here?
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in to this this interview with Micheal Noexcuse of the Art of Rucking. And I think you'll have gotten some value out of this if you have. And just stay tuned for more awesome interviews with Warrior X in the future. And follow Micheal Noexcuse and get started rucking.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt you as long as you're
doing it right.
Smart about it. Be smart, but it's good for you.
Yeah.
It's always been good for me. Even if I did get some blisters, there was always it's character building for sure.
Character building. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Discipline building.
But I look forward to more of your content and seeing all the things that you're doing and Godspeed, my friend. Thank you.
Too, Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All righty. Take it easy.
All right, you too.
All right.